breaking news here on CNN, a major development in the Middle East. Hamas says the political leader of the organization, the U.S. calls a terror group, has been killed in Tehran. So far, the Israeli military is only saying they do not respond to reports in the foreign media. The White House says it is aware of the reports and is monitoring it. This comes as Israel and Hamas were locked in tense negotiations to free dozens of hostages still held in Gaza by Hamas. Let's go to CNN's Paula Hancock's live in Abu Dhabi. Paula, what more do you know?
Well, Laura, this is a very significant development. Ismail Haniyeh, the political leader of Hamas, killed in Tehran. This, according to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. It's been confirmed as well by a Hamas statement saying that he was killed in a residence in the Iranian capital as he was in town for the inauguration of the new Iranian leader. Now, we know that that inauguration of Iran's new president was on Tuesday. We don't have an exact timing of when this killing took place, but it was the early hours of Wednesday when the news emerged. Now, it is a significant development. We have heard, as you say, that Israel is saying it does not comment on foreign news media reports. Not an unexpected response from the IDF. It is one we have heard before when there have been these reports of high-profile killings in other countries of Hamas or even of Hezbollah leaders. But everyone in the region does believe that Israel is behind this. Israel has made it very clear from October 7th, after that Hamas attack in Israel, that all of Hamas leadership was considered a target, that it would be going after the political and the military leadership of Hamas. Now, we know with Ismail Haniyeh that his residence in Gaza City was attacked by an Israeli airstrike just 1 month after those October 7th attacks. We also know that several months ago, a number of his children were killed in Gaza as well. So his family has also been considered a target. Now, Ismail Haniyeh himself has been out of Gaza for some years now. He has been living largely in Doha, Qatar. He has been free to travel around the region. We know he has been to Tehran a number of times. He has been to Turkey. And so the fact that this has happened in the heart of Iran is very significant. The fact that that the assassination was able to take place, that the intelligence was able to be gathered in Tehran itself, is certainly something that is going to send a chill through the Hamas organization. Now, it is not the first time that the leadership has been targeted. We know that that the military number 2 in Gaza, Mohammed Deif, Israel believes they killed him just recently. Also, back in January, Saleh al-Aruri, who was really considered a deputy political leader of Hamas, was also assassinated in Beirut. So this is not the first time that this has happened, but certainly the fact that it is the political leader of Hamas is a significant target. He has been very vocal, he has been very visible over recent months, not least when it comes to negotiations for a potential hostage deal to release Israeli hostages from Gaza and a ceasefire deal, which those discussions were ongoing. One can only imagine that this could well stall those, at least in the short term. Laura?
Paula Hancock, please stand by. We have CNN political analyst and foreign policy analyst Barak Ravid on the phone. Barak, what are your sources telling me this is very consequential?
Yes, it is very consequential, and just to understand how this assassination happened, according to the Iranian media, there are new details that are being published. Some sort of an aircraft fired a missile into Haniyeh's bedroom through the window and killed him. You really need to have very good intelligence and very good operational capabilities to conduct such an operation. This is when you add that to the assassination of Hezbollah's top military leader in Beirut, and-to-end airstrike conducted by the U.S. military in Iraq against pro-Iranian militias. This is a very bad day for the pro-Iranian axis in the region. And usually, when Iran gets hit like that, there is a retaliation. Sometimes it's immediate, sometimes it takes time. And I think that the Iranians are now starting to work on how are they going to respond, both directly and through their proxies in the region, for that wave or for that series of hits that they just got in the last 24 hours. And another interesting point, the White House top Middle East official, Brett McGurk, is now in the region. He had talks yesterday in Saudi Arabia, headed a delegation of all the top Middle East officials in the Biden administration. They were in Saudi Arabia to talk about the situation in Yemen and the Houthis. He's going to Egypt later today, and he's there while the whole region is getting more and more and more tense. And I think it will be very interesting to see whether McGurk changes his plans and goes to Israel and to other countries in the region from Egypt, maybe to Doha in Qatar, maybe to other places. But his visit in the region is in a very interesting timing.
Barak, is his presence in the region, does it make his safety more precarious at this juncture?
Yeah, again, I think, I'm pretty sure that, he's taking all the needed security measures, but I think it's just, it will be very, very interesting to see how the region is going to react to this series of events that are very, very dramatic. And I don't think, when I think about this, is one of the most dramatic days in the war since October 7th. And it's dramatic because it's not only in Gaza, it's in Beirut, it's in Tehran. And what we're seeing right now is how the whole region right now is engulfed in this crisis.
CNN international diplomatic editor Nick Robertson is joining me as well. Nick, what does this mean for the entire organization of Hamas? I mean, this is one man. He is a very important one among the organization. There are other leaders, though.
There are. I mean, one thinks immediately of Yahya Sinwar, who's the most important, described by the Israeli officials as a dead man walking, days after the October 7th attacks by Hamas, the main leader of Hamas, who's believed to be hiding out in tunnels in Gaza. It's significant in a way that Israel has the ability to reach into Tehran to take out a Hamas political leader there, one who lives in exile and is an important, a vital interlocutor so far in the talks on the hostages. And also be able to reach into Beirut at the new year or around the new year to take out Hamas's top figure there. Reach into Beirut just yesterday to take out perhaps the number 2 in the Hezbollah command structure after their supreme leader. So it's significant that Yahya Sinwar is still able to hide out and as far as we know, avoid Israel strikes inside of Gaza. I think that's one thing. But I think when we think about the consequences and the symbolism of taking out Ismail Haniyeh inside of Tehran, we have to look at the reason that he was there. I mean, he's been to Tehran before. Iran is widely seen as bankrolling, supporting, ideologically behind us, helping them prepare for the brutal October 7th attacks. But the reason that he was in Tehran now was to be there for the inauguration of Iran's new president following the death of their president a few months ago in a helicopter crash. There were elections, and it was understood that of the candidates running, it was the most moderate candidate that was put forward or allowed to run by the Supreme Council in Iran, who won the elections. And Ismail Haniyeh was there visiting him, watching his inauguration. So this, when you understand that Iran struck back directly at Israel for what it described as a targeted strike on its diplomatic compound inside of Damascus earlier this year. This, when Israel took out, assassinated one of the top interlocutors between Tehran, one of the those senior Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps leaders, helping to run the war in the region for Iran. When Tehran called that an attack on their diplomatic compound, this is a strike not just in Tehran, not just at a senior figure of Hamas, but at a time when he was there, when Iran was enjoying the inauguration of a new president. This will be seen by them most likely as an absolute diplomatic slap in the face, not just the assassination of Haniyeh, but when it was done and where it was done. The timing and the symbolism of it is really going to strike hard in Tehran, I would anticipate. And for this reason, trying to calculate their response at this time, one can imagine that it will be strong, and it will be with passion. Where and how, as Barak Ravid was saying, we just don't know.
I want to bring everyone up to speed on what we've been learning tonight in this breaking news story. The Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh has been killed in Tehran. Here is what we know. This was a 62-year-old man who had joined Hamas in the late 1980s. He also grew in power as the Hamas organization became more powerful. He was increasing in his ranks. He had been a part of the secret collective leadership at one point in time. He became chief of the group in 2017. It was actually named a specially designated global terrorist by the United States soon thereafter. He has been a part since the 80s, even engaging in peace talks with then former President Jimmy Carter. He was in Iran, in Tehran, attending the inauguration of the brand new president there. He's also known to be one of the chief interlocutors between Qatar and Egypt in terms of hostage negotiations. Members of his family had been killed back in April as well. We're learning now that he has been killed in Iran. The White House has been made aware, but they have not made an official comment about what has happened. And this just in, a Hamas official has released a statement saying that the killing of their political leader, quote, will not pass in vain, unquote. The statement goes on to say that the assassination of leader Ismail Haniyeh was a cowardly act. I want to bring back in Bobby Ghosh. Bobby, what